Hey everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yo, welcome everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
It is that time of the year again.
Yeah, we're already in December, man.
Yo, December 1st today.
Shit.
Wow. Welcome back guys to the Cave and Drew show. You want to start us off today, Drew?
Yes, so I thought we could do a little bit of a fun topic today. So everybody knows this multi-million-dollar making franchise called the MCU, or better yet, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm pretty sure you all have heard of it by now.
At least in some type of aspect.
In some capacity, at least. But I'm pretty sure 99.9% of most people have, at some capacity, bumped into the MCU at one point in their life. Whether they've seen it with a friend, a family member, a spouse, seen it for themselves, seen a show on Disney+, it's everywhere. But I thought me and Cave would kind of talk about... we're not going to dive like 99% into it because, you know, that would be a slogfest to talk about every single thing. So what I thought will be fun is us talking about like our first exposure into the MCU and also like what we think of the newest phase, which is phase 4 so far.
So much, and it's jam-packed for December. We already had Eternals, and they had mixed reviews, but we'll go into that later.
We are going to definitely touch upon that because there are things I want to say about it. Again, I will not spoil, obviously, too much. I don't really want... I'm going to go into some spoilers, maybe. I'm not going to BS y'all, but I'm not going to talk about stuff maybe Cave hasn't seen just yet. But we're going to kind of talk about our overall, like, you know, feeling of this new phase, what we think about it going forward, and kind of our first exposure. So I definitely think I want to talk about our first exposure to kind of get the...
Yep, and give probably updates for, you know, MCU 2021 and what's to come and all that stuff.
For sure. And remember, guys, this is, for full disclosure, this is just what we think of it. Our first exposure obviously exposure to everyone might be different to this franchise, and how we feel about it. I mean, if there's people that don't like it, cool. I know a lot of people who think it's a little cheesy, which is fine. I mean,
you guys are free to voice your opinions.
Voice your own opinion. Like, I'm okay with you being more of a DC fan. I don't care. I'm a DC fan as well. I have friends who are always mixed. I dabble in both.
Yeah, man. How can you not, man? Yeah. So much goody stuff.
You know, like, I'm just going to throw a little shade out there, but Marvel just does their movies better.
Live action, specifically.
But, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. Cave, if I may ask you, sir. Fine, young sir. What was your first exposure to the MCU, better yet known as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, ever?
Man, well, who can forget? I think my first movie, as soon as it was live action, they announced it. It was actually not the Bruce Banner for this MCU that we're in specifically right now, but it was one of the first Hulk movies that came in like the 2000s, I believe. Okay,
so if we're only talking MCU, I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you talking Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk movie?
Yes.
Okay. That is the MCU. So
it was the one where they introduced the Red Hulk before he was Red Hulk, which was
Theodis Ross.
Theodis Ross.
Yes.
And that movie was my first introduction to live action and just superhero movies in general.
Okay.
I had no idea what really Marvel was about. I mean, I read comics and stuff, but I didn't know Bruce Banner was a hero. He was more like an abomination to me. In a good way. Like,
I like how you say that when there's an abomination in that movie.
Yeah,
also.
Exactly. So like, I thought he was just more like a monster that just kind of like Frankenstein. Like people misunderstood him
a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So like that was my first introduction. That first Hulk movie, followed by the first Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movie.
Okay. So like, was it around the time that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie came out, or was it just you caught up on them later?
No, it was around that time where it was released.
I think Toby's was.
It was like
I think it was like 2004
or 5.
No, the first one that might have been 2000, at least around 2000 or 2001.
You're right.
Early 2000. Edward Norton's Hulk movie did not come. The MCU one didn't come out until about 2008.
So my first Spider-Man movie with Tobey must have been 2002. I think it was 2002.
Yeah, so it might have been the first one, right?
Yeah.
It was the one with Green Goblin?
Yes.
William Dafoe?
It was such a great movie. I didn't expect to get a live action because Spider-Man's always been one of my favorite Marvel heroes, and As soon as I got that movie, I was excited.
Yeah, no. Tobey Maguire's movies are excellent. I am not a fan of Spider-Man 3, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
for my own obvious reasons, but there are people that like it. Hey, I commend you, man. That's perfectly okay.
Yeah, man. What about you? What was your, I guess, first introduction or taste of
So, are we talking like superhero movie in general or MCU exposure?
it? MCU.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
so I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say your first MCU exposure was Incredible Hulk,
Yes.
and then you watch Iron Man later.
yes.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you my first exposure to superhero films overall, as well as the MCU. So as far as what I can remember, I would say that I really think like my earliest introduction to any type of like hero film might have been The Rocketeer from Disney.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that might have been like my first exposure because I remember watching that a lot growing up. Technically, he is like a superhero in a way when you think about it, because he does rescue people, rescue the world, and stuff. As far as Marvel goes, probably my first like Marvel exposure had to be some of those earlier movies. So yeah, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire was one. Daredevil with
Oh my
Ben
God.
Affleck was another one. You know, back in the day, that was like a big deal when it came out.
Oh yeah, for its time, and it didn't age well, but it was
It
still.
did, it did not age well. I 100% prefer the Netflix version, but yeah. And then of course some of the Hugh Jackman X-Men movies, of course, was probably
Oh.
some of my very first earliest experiences with superhero movies.
You know what?
in
I didn't even
general.
think about that. I forgot about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
X-Men
like
totally.
those were definitely there at the time as well. But those probably were like the first ones. Even Blade, the first Blade back in I believe it was
Oh my
96.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another.
Actually, thinking about that, that actually might have been one of the first two, and I didn't even know it. 'Cause I didn't know Blade was part of the MCU, and so
Well, not part of the MCU yet. I'm gonna say yet because he is coming. That movie was already announced.
it is. Yeah.
So
but the Wesley Snipes.
The Wesley Snipes version for sure. And I love the first two. I don't like Trinity, but the first two Blade movies, excellent, especially at their time. That was some of my earliest exposure to, Marvel-esque characters as well. The Rocketeer, I know is not Marvel, but yeah, he's Disney.
I didn't expect that one. That one took me left. I didn't know Rocketeer
Yeah.
was what.
But that's kind of like my first ever exposures, not counting the cartoons, the various animated shows that they came out with. Shout out to X-Men and Spider-Man back then. My first exposure to MCU, I probably going to sound generic when I say this, but was Iron Man. Literally was Iron Man. Iron Man was at the time one of the biggest superhero movies for a lot of people.
Yes.
Like we never thought we would get that, and they did such an excellent job, and Robert Downey absolutely killed it. I could never see anyone else play Tony Stark now.
He was coming out of a rough spot, but
Oh yeah, he was, and that was a big redemption for him. And man, he did great. He ran with it. He fell in love with that role. You can definitely tell he was very passionate in every installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that showed, had him show up. And that, I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people's exposure to it. I'm pretty sure no one expected to see Nick Fury come out of the shadows at the end of that film to talk about the fucking Avengers Initiative.
Not as Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, like that. Like a lot of people were always saying how they wanted him to play Nick Fury, and it fucking happened. Yeah. And the Avengers Initiative name was dropped. So people went bonkers. Everybody was like, well, what the hell does this mean? This means we're actually going to get an Avengers movie. Obviously, it took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 years to get there, but it happened. And it was one of the biggest money makers in the world. At the time it came out, I believe it was number 3 of the biggest money making movies in the world.
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that changes every
it
year or so, because
got-
there's always like the next big thing. But
It
at the
definitely got
time,
toppled.
at the time, it was right up there with Avatar and Titanic, which is amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And okay, kind of off topic, but like Titanic, for it to sell that much and to be up there was a little shocking to me.
Of course.
But
I mean, it was a big deal at the time it came out, going off topic, but it was. Everybody at some point has seen it.
yeah.
It's good. I mean, I don't rewatch it as most people. I would prefer James Cameron other movie, which is Avatar. I love Avatar.
Avatar was a tight as fuck. I like
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, my first exposure is definitely Iron Man, and then I just kind of followed it from there with consecutive follow-up films. Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America 1, and so on and so forth, till Avengers came out in 2012.
The build-up was incredible, man.
Yes, and that's another thing I actually wanted to talk about with you, since we mentioned like our first exposures to like superhero films and the MCU films, is like the build up to this, like it was a journey to get Avengers 1. Even that first teaser,
Right.
waiting for that thing. I remember I saw a leaked version of it from someone who tried to film it off their phone at Comic-Con, like, and it was the shittiest quality, but I was just like, that means we're gonna get a teaser eventually, right? And lo and behold, I believe it was a month or so later, or maybe even a couple weeks, I'm not 100% sure on that time, we got the actual teaser for it, and it was a big fucking deal. It was just like, hey, this is happening. I remember going to see this movie at midnight, 12 a.m. I bought tickets.
Oh, wow.
And I went with a group of friends to go see it at the time, and it was just, the energy was amazing. This is one thing that I love. There are toxic fans in this franchise, you know, fan base, as there is with every franchise. There's definitely toxicity there, but at the same time, you bump and meet a lot of great people at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Something about fandom is, especially in Marvel, you go out to these movies and you get the community out there. It was such a nice experience to have. We see that with a lot of other ones, but with Marvel, I think I've seen the most that are very passionate about it.
For sure. There's a lot of very passionate fans. I remember when I went to see it at midnight, everybody was in some type of Marvel garb. Like, people had a shirt. I had my Cap shirt because I was super excited to see.
Oh, yeah. We're always wearing the shirts, by the way, guys.
Every time I go see a MCU film, or like any superhero film that I'm very excited for, I'm always going to wear some type of clothing to represent that. So, like, when I went to go see Avengers, I definitely wore a Captain America shirt because I was like super excited to see him with the team for the first time. But everybody was dressed up in a different type of Thor shirt. I saw various different Marvel shirts. Somebody even had an Infinity Gauntlet shirt before we even knew that was going to be a thing.
Right.
And then there was people dressed up as the characters taking pictures with people as well. I remember watching the post-credit scene to Avengers and seeing Thanos' face, just the side of it, and the theater just fucking went nutty. When I tell you nutty, I even lost my voice yelling in there because I didn't even think they were gonna do it.
No, because there were so many avenues you could go about it. Like, for example, we saw in Fantastic Four that they had a possibility of Galactus being in there.
Well, they did do Galactus as a storm cloud.
As a storm cloud. That wasn't the Galactus I knew, though.
It's not a Galactus any of us even thought we would ever see. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But let's not mention those movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the MCU one. Shout out to John Watts for directing it, since he's helmed all 3 of these Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So, it was a big deal at the time. Like, of course, it was a huge thing. Like, everybody's like, holy shit, that means we're going to get Infinity Gauntlet. Lo and behold, years later, we got Infinity War.
Yo,
So,
dude, and the progression of it, like, from seeing it, we just get the introduction to Iron Man, and then to now where we had a full-out war. We had Civil War. We had
Civil War with a Spider-Man.
Right.
You remember the build-up to that? I was telling you, I'm so sad that we're not going to have Spider-Man because he has a huge impact on that comic storyline.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like I'm okay with seeing it regardless, but like, damn, Peter's a main player in this story. And when Sony announced the deal to introduce Spider-Man,
that was, oh my God.
In Civil War, I was just like, you're shitting me.
By far, just like, okay, getting the Infinity Gauntlet, what I would think would have happened would have been the multiverse. And we're getting that in this new phase.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, that we're definitely going to touch upon that in just a moment. But just the build up to everything, like, I never thought we would see these characters together. Like, you know, seeing Guardians and Avengers together, seeing freaking Iron Man having a little debacle with Doctor Strange, like seeing Peter Parker introduce himself and literally being, I guess, knighted by Tony, an Avenger. Like, this is crazy that this even got this far. Like, there's, like I said, again, there's toxic fans. Disney, of course, has had their ups and downs, but I don't think we would have ever had this franchise had it never been for them acquiring, you know, all these characters to adapt.
I think it's well deserved. They worked hard for it. No company is perfect.
No, of course not.
Disney just, they're the pinnacle of what entertainment is nowadays.
No, like, anytime you think of, like, there's super mega franchises, like Star Wars is another one that they also, you know, own. And then you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, those are always movies that everyone looks forward to. These are always movies that we sit through credits just to see what the next piece of information we're going to get that possibly sets up a future event. It's gotten that big where, like, I actually get in shock when I see people still walking out of the theater when these movies start rolling credits, because I'm just like, have you not learned by now that they're always going to set up the next big thing?
You have to sit through the whole thing.
Absolutely, dude. Like, and that's the thing. Like, after Avengers introduced us to what would now be the after credits thing, because this wasn't like a big thing back then to sit through credits and wait for something. No one ever thought you would see that. Everybody just got up and went home. But now it's just like, a lot of movies are doing it, not even only Marvel. Like, a lot of films are doing this now. They throw a little teaser at the end of the credits that can possibly set up a potential sequel or even set up a own franchise, depending on, you know, what
Connect
it is.
universes, wink, wink.
Yes, the interconnected fucking universes. So, like, it's really cool to see that we get so much of that now. And with the MCU, I just feel like they have such a thin line of doing it so perfectly. They always get you excited for the next big thing.
And that's their thing. That's their niche. And it's all thanks to Stan Lee, man. Big shout out to that
Absolutely.
legend, man.
May you rest in peace, King. Because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this beautiful thing known as Marvel. Your mind is just was perfection, because a lot of the characters Stan Lee has created are just so near and dear to so many people.
Bro, what are you excited about, I guess, for like the new phase coming in? Like,
Oh yeah, so yeah, definitely. Let's talk our phase 4 now.
yeah, man, like,
There's a lot of things that I've seen so far.
yeah.
And then there's a lot of things that they're setting up. So I'm definitely excited for the multiverse. Absolutely.
Yes.
There's so much that you can do with that, because there's so many characters that you can introduce. There's so many storylines that the MCU can do now.
Give me top 3 of what would you be excited for new characters wise.
Oh my god.
Or
new
any
characters.
confrontations actually too.
Well, I'm definitely excited for Kang.
For Kang,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm definitely excited for Kang coming into the MCU. We got a little teaser of his existence with Loki. Amazing.
Ooh.
Loki was so good.
Yo,
Loki
yes.
was really,
if
really
you guys
great.
have not seen, that actually explains a lot about what's going on with the multiverse splitting and whatnot. So if you guys haven't seen it, it explains.
It teaches you a lot about time displacement, variance, things that we never really would have thought about back then when the MCU started. But now that we have Loki, that kind of thrusted us more into the multiverse, variance, time displacement, all of that stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things you could do with that. That's why I'm excited that they announced a season 2 for Loki, because there's still so much more story to tell with him and his journey with the TVA and whatnot. But it also gets me excited at the possibility that these are threads that obviously might come to exist in future films, which they
Yes.
have announced that most of the Disney Plus MCU series literally are going to eventually all connect to films. Most of these characters we are going to see on the big screen.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, they're definitely going to do some team ups. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. We already have so much foundation.
A lot. You could go off a lot, man. I'm excited primarily for that 1v1. I need to see that Venom Spider-Man.
Yes,
I need to see
absolutely.
that.
I couldn't even believe that, spoiler, if you don't know by now, I mean, it's all over the internet. They literally released a scene. Venom is in the MCU.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the multiverse that clearly brought him there, but he's there.
Exactly.
Let There Be Carnage had that little teaser with him licking Peter on the TV, and I think that was probably the most excited I was throughout that whole movie, to be honest.
Especially for a franchise. Come on, we're both Spider-Man fans,
Yeah,
dude.
like-
seeing that, I'm like, finally.
You gotta see Venom and Spider-Man. Like, this is just something that we just have to see it. We have to see
Yes.
it. So he could show up in No Way Home. So that's a story thread that I'm definitely curious if they're going to actually throw him in there, or if they're gonna save him for
There's
Doctor Strange
speculation
2.
because they want the Sinister Six, so we don't know who that sixth member is yet.
No, we
So-
don't. We only know several of them, and there's still, more that they can introduce. Obviously, in that last Spider-Man trailer, the multiverse is cracking open right around them. So
Right.
Venom could easily make an appearance there. So who knows? But if there's more characters I'm excited for, are we talking just future characters or upcoming characters?
Absolutely. I was gonna pinpoint one at you because you're the one that got me into the show, but the end of WandaVision.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
There's so much there. I love Agatha Harkness. This is one character I told you that was just near and dear to me, because I knew that she was there.
yeah.
The thing is, I knew she was there because again, I'm familiar with her character. I'm familiar with some of the storylines that she's had with Wanda. The only thing that really brought it to me, gave it out, even though they made us wait until the whole big battle at the end of the season with Westview and Wanda fighting Agatha, is her brooch on her outfit.
Yeah.
Her brooch had the 3 witches, the sigil, and I was just like, okay, this has to be Agatha. I don't think I'm incorrect, but let's see what happens. And yeah, they did it.
It turned out to be her.
It ended up being her, and Kathryn Hahn absolutely killed that role. Another loose thread that, well, I'm not gonna call it loose, but something they set up was the White Vision. Basically, we still have Vision. Vision's not gone. You know, Paul Bettany's still here.
Yes.
So he could easily come back. So I'm excited to see what's going on with him as well. We are getting an Agatha show. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah, it's
House of
definitely-
Harkness was announced.
Yes.
So we're gonna get Agatha again. She's expanded her contract, so who knows what they're gonna do with that, but I'm excited that she's a villain that still exists and can.
Such a good villain.
Yeah, she's great.
I loved her. I loved the actress.
Yeah,
that
Kathryn
portrayed
Hahn
her. Yeah.
absolutely had fun, and she even said it like in an interview. She's like, I had so much fun. I really want to continue this role, and yeah, she's doing it.
It gave me these type of Sabrina vibes. I know that's very bad to compare the both, but like it
The
gave
witchy
me,
aspect of it.
yes,
Yeah, for sure.
And when Scarlett got her costume, it just brought it all together.
Yeah, no,
so
that costume's amazing, and I'm so happy.
What about her
that.
kids, man? Like I was gonna say, like I'm excited
With
for
Billy and Tommy. So with Billy and Tommy, I'm super excited because there's a possibility we can see them again later. There's a huge possibility for Young Avengers. Like
Yes.
it's there. I mean, we have Kate now with Hawkeye. I'm not gonna say nothing because I know Cave, you haven't seen it yet, but man, Hawkeye. I love street level superheroes as well. So I was super hyped for Hawkeye, and I am just like, I'm flabbergasted at how great they're doing it. Like the whole thing with Kate
What?
Bishop and Clint, it's amazing, man.
Look at
It's
that.
really good how they're doing this for him. I never thought in a million years, like I didn't think Marvel was gonna do it, because like again with this phase, they're giving us things that they should have given us before, like with Black Widow's film, and now with Hawkeye's miniseries. It's amazing because I was just like, they need a film. If you don't want to give them a film, do something more, because I like these characters. I know there's people out there who don't really care for Widow and Clint, but I've always liked them. So I've always wanted more. And now that they've given me us a Black Widow film, which was great. I like the Black Widow movie. And now they're giving us Hawkeye, which every single episode just seems to amaze me more and more.
My God. And bravo to Haley.
Yes.
Haley.
She's absolutely killing it.
Yes.
And this was someone they've always wanted to play Kate.
Oh, she always wanted to? I did not know.
Not per se her. She's always wanted to be in Marvel. She just didn't know at what capacity. But Kevin Feige himself said it in an interview that he's like, if there's our ideal choice for Kate Bishop, it's Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
And they were super happy to have her. Like, she came in and she rocked it. She's doing absolutely great things with the character. The storyline that they're basing it off of is a great comic book that I'm a huge fan of. Right. So I'm happy to see how they're, obviously it's not 99% page by page, but the things that they're taking and they're putting there, you do see them. And it's just absolutely exciting. If there's stuff more, I know earlier you were like, what else I'm excited for? Mm-hmm. I'm excited for Blade.
Oh my God, yeah. Which I didn't even know was introduced. What was the episode that was introduced, or when did we get that hint?
So,
big spoiler, by the way.
It's gonna be a spoiler. One of the end credits for Eternals teased them.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they teased Blade. A lot of people in the theater when I saw it didn't really know. People were like quiet, and then I erupted. I just couldn't help it because like I just get nerdy. Like when I see these things, I was like, "Yo, that's Marshala Ali's voice." They didn't like show him. They just did like a voice cameo.
Right.
And you can hear Marshala Ali. I was like, that's Marshala Ali. That's Blade. We just got our first Blade teaser. So he's coming. There's just so many things. Again, with Eternals, I understand the mixed reception. You're taking a movie that has so much story. So much.
Well, how many characters was there supposed to balance? Because
it's a lot.
And their origin stories on top of that.
So the origin for all of them it's pretty dandy. Like, it's quick and easy. It's not hard to do that part. It's trying to balance them all out and kind of give them development. It's hard to do when you have a team of 10.
Exactly.
It's a lot.
That's
and then
a lot.
on top of that, you're trying to shoehorn. I'm going to say shoehorn because I don't think they needed to set this up. But, kudos to them for doing it. What Kit Harington playing Dane Whitman, a.k.a. the Black Knight. I don't even think that needed to be there because we only really saw him in the movie maybe 3 scenes, and that's it.
Right.
And he didn't really have a big role yet.
We don't know
yet.
If
it's yet because that post-credit scene, one of them was dedicated to him. And
first time we see Celestials in there.
Yes. They were teased back in like, Guardians, where they showed like an image when the Collector was telling them about the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And that's it. We didn't really get to see them fully realize. This movie fully realizes what a Celestial looks like, and they are ginormous.
Right.
When they would show them talking to one of the Eternals look like a figure, a little toy figure next to them. That's how big they were.
Right. I think they were like a size of maybe bigger than a continent. So
They're
ginormous.
they filled the whole IMAX screen.
Yeah.
Their heads alone are just giant. So you have to set up some story threads with the Celestials because obviously they're still at play here. Mm-hmm. And then, it was a lot. It was a lot, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know if that's because like I'm just a fan of the Eternals. I'm familiar with a lot of them, and I especially, loved what, Stanley Jack Kirby did with them when they were first introduced, how colorful their whole world was and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. I did. For a movie that was super long and it's different for sure. It's a beautiful, gorgeous looking film. All the actors did a great job. Mm-hmm. Like, they were all very likable. Like, I would say my favorite ones were definitely Tina. Angelina Jolie did a great job. She's my favorite Eternal, so I was really happy how they did that. Kingo was amazing.
Who was Kingo? I haven't watched those.
That was Kumail Nanjiani.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did really good.
I liked Paperboy. I haven't seen watched
Fastos.
yet, but
Fastos was cool.
Okay.
Fastos was cool. They're all cool in their own right. All of them. Like, there's something to like about all of them, whether it's their abilities or the relationship that most of them have had with each other. They kind of show you that because they go through a lot of time periods with them and how they came to be on Earth, what their goal was, how they helped humanity progress. So I like that stuff. I like a lot of development. So, like, getting that development to see how they've existed, why they didn't intervene with the Avengers battle against Thanos, like, it all gets explained.
Yeah.
I know for sure we're going to get another Eternals movie. The way that movie ended, it set up more things.
I would love to.
So, like, I don't want to give this... There's one post-credit scene that introduces a very, very big thing that is connected to Thanos, and I cannot say what it is for you because I want you to see it for yourself. I was very excited to see this character show up. I'm going to dub him this character because I don't want to say who it is.
Hashtag.
But I'm excited for him. I didn't think they were going to do it. They brought him in, so we have to see where they go from here. Big things coming. And then I think lastly, another thing that I'm excited for is the Fantastic Four.
Oh, right. Yeah. They announced, didn't
Yeah,
they?
The guy who directs the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, he is directing Fantastic Four.
Okay, so it'll be another revamp. Hopefully, I'm very confident he will do a great job. It's just, revamping this twice already.
I know.
It gets a little old. But
it does.
Hopefully, they don't do like a whole origin story.
I just don't think I'm okay with an origin story.
Yeah.
I am. If they don't want to do like a fully realized origin story, they can give us snippets of it. I mean, like with Spider-Man, they didn't give us his origin because we already know it, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like they gave us a fully realized backstory, for the freaking Fantastic Four yet. Like, the first movie they tried to do it, I wasn't really a fan. The second movie,
the better one was, of course, the first couple. I mean, at least the first one with the Silver Surfer. No, that was the second.
That was the second one.
First one with Doom.
Yeah, and then they tried to revamp it with, like, I'm gonna call it Fan Four Stick because that's what the title looks like. I hated that movie. I'm sorry. And it's not that the actors did bad. It had talent. They all did what they could, and they're all great. It's just I didn't like what they did with that movie. I hated how they did their backstory. I hated how they did the, Doctor Doom stuff. Like, it wasn't working for me personally. So I want to see an MCU's touch on the family that we all know and love. I want to see them eventually build the Baxter Building in New York. I want to eventually see them cross over with other characters. Obviously, it's going to happen.
It has to, man. And if there's a possibility of redoing Doom, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough to say who would play him because, like, a lot of people were saying Keanu Reeves would be a good fit because Keanu Reeves does want to play a character in the MCU. He's very interested in it.
I have a candidate for Keanu because people have been speculating. I'm like, yo, he'll do pretty good, but I was thinking Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider would be a good one. I would love to see them do more with that character.
With
Ghost Rider.
Specifically, not the first one. It's
there's Johnny Blaze, and then when they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did Robbie Reyes, which actually I prefer Robbie to Johnny. Yes. That's just my opinion, though. And I really like what they did with Robbie on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He looked great. His storyline was perfect. And, it's sad that show never happened. They were actually going to give him his own show.
And it never happened.
It was going to be on, like, Hulu, and then they axed it. And I was sad because Gabriel Luna did a really good job. So, I mean, it's fine. Honestly, Marvel doesn't do much with Robbie Reyes in the comic books anyways. Every time they have, like, a good story going for him, it gets canceled. Every time. Are you kidding me? Every time. So I'm just like... Just throw him in the MCU. I mean, at some point he has to be brought up because we already have the supernatural side of the MCU happening. Right. It's there. It's happening. There's already talk about them doing. Oh God, I forgot his name. Wolf. It's basically Marvel's Wolfman, kind of. I forgot the actual title of him.
Forgot his name.
There's speculation for him. So if that happens, we're going a lot more supernatural because. As far as I know, where we're going right now is multiverse. Multiverse has anything.
Right.
So they could easily do a lot with that. So another character I'm excited for is Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yes.
I love street superheroes, and Moon Knight does have some powers, but the fact that he's always on the streets and shit, I think that'll be cool. I think it's great to see Oscar Isaac is playing him.
Yes. Before I forget, we almost forgot about Rambo. Like her being maybe possibly and the new Captain Marvel.
Yes, so she's going to be in the Marvels, which is supposed to come out, I don't know if we're getting it next year. And if it does, it's probably going to be late or the following year. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Monica Rambeau's set up from WandaVision. Another thread that I loved in WandaVision was that they definitely gave her set up for Secret Wars. With Secret Wars. Going to space with the Skrulls, where Nick Fury is currently at. So that's gonna happen, or is it I'm sorry, I said Secret Wars, I meant Secret Invasion. Correction. But yeah, for sure, because I think once they have her there in that show, they're gonna set her up to come into the Marvels, because the Marvels is literally gonna have Carol, Monica, and Kamala, who's also getting her show next year on Disney Plus well. So
that one I know you were excited about because you're a big, Kamala fan.
I love Kamala. I'm hearing that they obviously altered her. I don't know how I feel about the alterations yet. I obviously have to wait till the show is out.
Right.
But, like a big thing that Marvel tried to do was the Inhumans. That was a fail. I'm just going to put it out there. Inhumans was terrible. They did not adapt them properly at all.
Wait, Inhumans happened?
Inhumans happened on TV.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I my mind blipped. So
it is okay if you didn't know it existed because it's terrible.
Because I thought it got axed at first.
It did get axed after the first season aired. It was terrible.
Oh wow,
it was terrible. I was not a fan of how they botched that whole thing because I love the Inhumans, but they didn't do a good job. And Kamala, initially, where her origin, she gets exposed to Terrigen Mist, which essentially makes her an Inhuman. But I think they're axing that whole concept out for the show. Apparently, she's going to have some type of association with magic. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm just hearing that. So I'm just like, I can't really judge it until the finalized product is out. And I can watch it for myself to kind of gather an opinion on what I feel about it then. Because, again, I love Kamala. I've been reading her, her issues, her storyline since she came to be in the comic world. So I guess we have to see how they do it,
Right.
But, yeah, I'm still excited to see her. I'm excited for Ironheart. Like, a lot of the upcoming stuff is... Yeah, Riri Williams. I'm very excited for that. Because, we're supposed to get her introduction in the next Black Panther movie. Again, rest in peace, Chadwick. I don't even know how they're going to do this film, but, we'll see.
I'm okay with Shuri. I know they've teased it a lot, but Shuri would be a great person to take up the mantle.
She had an injury on set of the movie recently.
Oh, yeah. So it got pushed back, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think they had to stop filming for a little bit just so that, she can heal up. If she got an injury, she's definitely catching more action. So if that's the case,
she doing her own stunts, maybe?
I don't know. I can only assume she might take up that mantle, and I'm okay with that because that has happened previously in the comic world. So
yeah,
we'll see. They're setting up Riri from there, and then Riri's gonna get her Ironheart show, and then she's also gonna be associated with War Machine for Armor Wars.
Look at that.
So there's a lot of foundations set up. Same thing with Loki. We don't even know how they're gonna, where they're gonna go with Sylvie's storyline now.
Yeah, because Sylvie,
she's stuck at the Citadel. She's still there.
Right.
So I'm just like, maybe they'll, do something with her season 2. Maybe she'll help, and maybe she'll come through for, I don't know. I'm not going to say help. I don't know what they're doing with her.
Right.
But maybe they'll do something with them for Multiverse of Madness. A speculation that her and Loki might appear in that. I don't know. If they do, I feel like it'll work.
Yeah.
Because, they're all, like, magical.
I mean, they set us up with new Avengers already. Like, we got the intro to Rambo. We got the new Captain. We have Captain Marvel still exists.
Mm-hmm.
She still exists.
She'll be around for a little bit.
We have, like, Guardians.
Yeah,
we just got Blade.
Guardians 3 is already filming. Blade, they're getting ready to start that. Fantastic Four, John Watts already confirmed he's going to be starting that now.
If there's a possibility of getting Miles, that would be an inclusion.
It is definitely a possibility with the multiverse. This is what I'm saying. So Miles is in a different universe from Peter. So with the multiverse being ripped open, I'm possibly excited that we may get a live action Miles Morales.
That would be nice. Remember what I was telling you? Like a perfect cast will be the guy that plays Lucas from Stranger Things. Remember that?
Yes.
That would be great.
Caleb.
Yeah,
he would be I think he would do great. I know a lot of people wanted Donald Glover, Childish.
Donald would be great, but he played the uncle in
right, Into the Spider-Verse. He played a voice role, so I highly doubt we'll get him in the role, or even a new actor that they may be able to find, someone that's upcoming. Because Tom wasn't super well known yet. He had done some stuff, but he wasn't like out there. Once he did Spider-Man, that was it. Yeah. He shot off into popularity after that. So I mean, even if they do, like, I like when they find a new face. I'm not bothered by that, because when it's not a familiar face, you can't have a judgment on how they're gonna perform until you see it.
Well, you guys just leave that in the comments below.
Yeah, like, what do you guys think?
I'm curious to what you guys have to say, because you guys probably have good castings, and we're just over here like planning shit out, and we're just like, yeah, it might happen, might not.
Yeah, may or may not. Oh, again, always a possibility with the MCU, man. They may do something, they may not. Like, Haley Steinfeld was fan casted for years.
Yes.
They wanted her to do Kate, and obviously they took notice of that at Marvel Studios, and Kevin Feige, made the call, and he made that shit happen. It happened. There was some people saying they wanted to see Monica Rambeau, this version of her. My God, I'm so sorry, I don't remember the actress's name. Piana Harris. I might be butchering it, but yeah, she was fan casted initially, and it happened. They made the call, and they got her to do Monica, and she does do a great Monica. She fits it perfect.
Oh no, yeah.
So it's like, again, Marshala Ali. People were saying they wanted him to play Blade. Boom, happened.
Boom.
So it's just like,
Wesley can't do it anymore.
Of course, and he actually has given his full support to Marshala for doing the role.
Yeah,
he's supportive of him, because Wesley did a great job. It is hard to top that performance if you're used to it at this point, and most of us are.
Yeah, man, that was.
So it's like, it's gonna be different to see an MCU version of Blade. That's most likely. I don't know if they're gonna go for it. May not, or may. Who knows? I have no idea. This is a speculation. Maybe PG-13, maybe R-rated. I would love for them to go the R-rated route, but if they're gonna open it for general audience, they may go PG-13. So that's like a seesaw, because with Deadpool 3. I'm excited for whatever they do with him. I'm just waiting. Listen. They already announced they're making it R-rated. If you didn't know, that is Cave's favorite Marvel character.
Yes. Listen, I was so excited for X-Force, and I want them to do justice. I think it was a little underwhelming, Psylocke, and having hopefully some other members in there.
And it's not Olivia Munn's fault. I think she fit the role. She even did sword training for that. I just think that X-Men Apocalypse just wasn't really a good movie. And yet they had things there that could have worked.
Yeah.
Like, they even had Jubilee. They fucking brought in Jubilee.
Exactly.
And
such an OG character. Loved her.
Didn't do anything with it. Yeah. I don't like Apocalypse, and I didn't like what they did with Dark Phoenix either. I just not a fan. I like First Class. I like Days of Future Past.
Those were great.
Those were great. And X-Men are coming into MCU. Probably not going to be for a little while, but that's announced. They're happening. So yeah,
that would be a challenge, because seeing all those characters at once on one movie, or maybe parts of movies,
they're definitely going to give them more than one film.
Yeah,
you can't. It's impossible to do every single mutant in the Marvel universe within 1, 2, or even 3 films. There's so many mutants.
Listen, like I was shocked that they even pulled off Civil War because that was so many characters to balance.
And they actually cut out a lot of characters.
You see,
Civil War has so many more characters that are involved in that story, but they haven't even adapted them yet, and they probably don't even have the rights to a lot of them. So that's makes sense why they went with a Civil War with characters that they, can work with. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, I would have loved to see a fully fledged Civil War with all these characters, but like I understand
that's hard.
With the licensing and the ownership and film rights and all that dally shit.
Yeah, we almost didn't get a Spider-Man because of licensing issues, and
especially like Sony's very near and dear to holding on to that property. They will not give him up for shit. So the fact that I don't know if you've heard, well, you've heard it. We've discussed it actually.
Which one?
If you don't know out there, whoever's listening, Tom Holland expanded that contract.
Yes, 3 more movies, guys.
3 more movies.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure Sony likes what Marvel is doing with his character.
Yeah.
And for them to have this multiverse and now they're like bringing in characters like Venom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're definitely going ahead and giving a lot of leeway to, the MCU to do things. Obviously, Sony is still stepping in right there looking at them. But the fact that they're allowing them to do so much more than we would have ever thought they would have been able to do is great. I love that they're like, now they're like letting Marvel flex. They're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Use them for 3 more.
Man.
Because I was afraid this was it.
No. I thought so too. He even mentioned a little part. He's just like, I think if they were supposed to like end his character, he would have been cool with it. Tom Holland said that. He's just like,
and he said by 30 he would have been done playing him anyways. So this would have been the time to like discuss further implementation of Tom Holland's Peter within the MCU, and it excites me because that means we can possibly see Peter team up with younger characters like Cade or Ironheart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like they're setting up younger Kamala, like they're setting up these younger characters. You have to do something with them. I mean, they're gonna do something with all of them, but the fact that you have Spider-Man for 3 more movies, they're gonna do a lot with that. They're definitely gonna be using them, and I think he would be good at teaming up with these other characters. Like I would love to see Spider-Man and Kate. I would even like to see Peter training with Shang.
That would be nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing we haven't even touched upon. Shang-Chi opened up the possibility of a lot of dragons now.
Right. Because of that realm that they're in.
Yep. Like, because the creator of the rings is the Markulans, who are a dragon alien race, which they can easily bring in now. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm just super excited where they're going with Shang-Chi also. If you guys haven't seen it, if you have Disney Plus, just watch it on there. It's amazing. I've seen it like 3 times now.
Ain't the sister like getting a spin-off show too?
Yes. They're in talks to bring Shelling and the 10 Rings to Disney Plus possibly. If they do, that'll work fine. I would be okay with that. But they're definitely going to have involvement in the future. And I like that. I absolutely thought Simu Liu did a great job. I loved Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi was good.
Like, we need more. I'm happy that we're getting a lot more Asian side of representation within Marvel now. Because, it's just like, why not do a Shang-Chi movie?
I see what Disney's doing. I mean, they're doing it great with the Disney princesses, but now they're bringing it into the Marvel. You're getting more people, more genders involved. I love it.
Like Eternals gave us our first LGBTQ character. It might be controversial to some out there. I'm not dabbing my toes in that argument. I'm just saying they did that.
Yeah.
They did it.
And it's well deserved.
You know what I'm saying?
They've been waiting for a while, man. Like,
to do something like that, there are a lot of, queer characters in the comics. There are a lot. Wanda's son, Wiccan. Remember he had like the red cape and the Halloween costume? He grows up to be gay.
Yep.
That happens. So it's just like,
look at Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, representation like that is great to have moving forward. So they're really trying to present things for everyone. They're definitely trying to represent the woman more. Yeah. Absolutely. And I understand.
Our queens.
Yes, like, give us praise the queens, because, like, it's great that they're doing that. Like, Endgame gave us a whole sequence with just female heroes. I like that sequence. I know some people may have felt it was forced, but there's a reason why they put that in there.
Yes.
You have to give everyone something that they want. You have to put something for everyone. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. But, man, I just love what's coming together. I can't wait for whatever's coming up. I'm a little behind. I'll be there soon, y'all.
Yeah,
but
I think all he has to see is Eternals, and when Hawkeye's finished, he can binge that, and Spider-Man, and that's it.
That's
That's
it.
all we have for the rest of this year.
Right.
So Phase 4 is far from over.
Oh,
We're
and of
just
course Morbius, but I think that's next year, right?
you know what? I don't even.
Actually,
I
that's
don't
a good
even
one.
know the
We didn't even
release
talk
date.
about Morbius, but
We did not, and I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I am curious as to why Vulture was in that trailer. I am curious as to why we saw Sam Raimi's Tobey Spider-Man on some graffiti. You know what I'm saying? Like, the multiverse is full-fledged. It's there. It's happening. It's here.
yeah, man.
So, like, yeah, we'll probably definitely check that out. I mean, like I said, I've watched every Spider-Man property in the theater. I've seen them all. So
Yeah.
I'm always excited to see what else they can do, because now that they're interconnecting things differently with this multiverse, it's just open possibilities. All bets are on the table.
Yeah, man. By the way, we opened up our discussions and our comments. We welcome it. So if you guys have any options or anything that we might have missed, you guys send us a DM or something, or message and comment on the YouTube link or whatever.
You know, for sure. Eventually, we will, hopefully expand our services beyond YouTube. So don't worry. That's something that we're looking
that's
into.
something that we wanted to announce. Like eventually, hopefully, if we get enough of you guys, we will definitely like to distribute to other platforms.
Yeah, I feel like it's well deserved. And then for those who may not have had the chance to listen to it, if we do make that move, all our episodes will then be readily available on there too.
Absolutely.
So it'll be another place for to gain more listeners. To listeners that we may have had who may not want to go through the whole YouTube thing. Hey,
yeah, because we heard that it's a little annoying, like turning off the player when you watch YouTube. Instead, you like Spotify. You don't have to, constantly be on there. And
appreciate the feedback. That's perfectly understandable. Eventually, we do want to do Spotify, Apple, possibly, hopefully. So, yeah, we'll definitely thread it out there for everyone. But for those who are still listening, thank you so much. We appreciate the views.
yeah, man. I think we got everything right.
Yeah, that's basically our exposure. How we're feeling about the next phase and what's upcoming.
Excited as fuck.
I will ask one more question.
Yeah.
Is there one character that has not been announced at all that you would like to possibly see in a future film? I know it's a steep question.
I'm thinking because they touched upon a lot of my favorite characters already. What about? Let me think about one. What about you?
There's a lot racing through my brain when I hear that question, because there's just so much you could do. If I had to pick one, I will definitely go with I'm gonna definitely go probably with Miles Morales.
Miles. Okay.
Because again, it's a possibility. Hopefully, he's one of my most hopeful characters to see. If not, Miles, Man-Thing.
Man-Thing. Okay.
Since they're trying to, start dabbling in more of the supernatural stuff, Man-Thing and Ghost Rider.
And Ghost Rider
Being fully fledged within the MCU. So those are like three. I got three.
I would say Gwen, man.
Yeah,
I want
for
a Gwen
sure.
Spider.
For sure. Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, how they call her now. Yeah. Yes, she's excellent.
I would like to see what they do, because since Venom's in the, in symbiote world and stuff, of Gwenom or something, or maybe like a Gwenpool.
That would be cool. I'm not even gonna BS. A Red Hulk.
Red Hulk? Oh, okay.
I would like to see Ross.
Oh, like Red Hulk?
Yeah, because
Okay.
Ross is still here. They always show him here and there. So
They never did anything with him.
they didn't do too much with Ross. So
Yeah.
I would love to see a Red Hulk. Maybe in the future, even a Red She-Hulk.
That
You know
would
what I'm
be
saying?
nice.
There's just like, yeah, there's oh man, there's a lot. Yeah, because the crazy part is a lot of characters that I've wanted are starting to come within the MCU. Like I'm getting Moon Knight. My girlfriend loves She-Hulk. She's getting that.
Yes.
That's coming. I love Kate Bishop. I've already have that.
You got her already.
I love Ironheart. She's coming.
They touched upon nearly all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have one more, but he's a villain.
That's fine. Villains count.
Mr. Negative.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Negative would be great.
I loved him in the Sony Spider-Man game, the first one. And
yes.
him as a villain, I think I have the perfect cast for him. I just forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry, but seeing Mr. Negative go with Miles or like Spider-Man.
His powers are so cool.
Yeah. The fact. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that'll be great. Yeah, like yeah, those are probably my main three that I would like to see: Miles, Man Thing, Red Hulk.
Man Thing was, huh?
Because Man Thing fits the supernatural side, and I feel like you can do it.
You
You
could.
know, if they really want to, they can, and he would look cool.
Interesting. Okay.
But those are just some of my many choices. Again, that's a def question. There's just so many characters that they still haven't touched, so there's a lot you could do. But yeah.
Yo, man. Cool, man. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. That was a good convo, man. That was a good topic today.
It was very fun. I just brought up the idea, like, what does it mean to us so far? We'll definitely touch upon the MCU again. This is just like, one of the probably many recordings we'll touch upon because there's just so many thoughts that go into it. Yeah. We'll probably even talk about Spider-Man eventually. Who knows?
There's a room for possibility for anything.
Yeah, we might just talk about the D+ series in one recording. I don't know. Like, there's just so much you could do. But that's like our general consensus so far, like our exposure and how we're feeling about this new phase that they've kicked off, because I think it's great. I'm enjoying it.
I'm fucking excited. I think they're giving me too much because I'm struggling to even keep up right now. I'm like, yo, there's so much shit.
We eating.
Yeah, we eat. Fuck yeah, as nerds, yes.
Yeah, we eating good.
Yes.
So
it's a good time to be a nerd, man. You guys live up to it, but
for sure. And for those who haven't seen the Hawkeye episode 3, it is out now. So
it is out now.
Ooh. Go check that out. That's some good stuff.
But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, share.
Please.
If you guys liked it, support your local podcast.
Yeah, we have so much fun doing this. So this is Drew signing off. Y'all have a good one.
Yo, and this is Cave. See y'all soon.